Recently, I met a woman from Stamford in my district who grew up in the city. She earns a middle income and she's nearing retirement. And she said that she's considering moving to a different state because her income tax bill's too high, her property tax bill keeps going up, and all her other bills are just too onerous on her. We need to give good people like her and millions of other Connecticut families better choices. This is a great state with all the attributes necessary to succeed fantastically. We have a smart, educated workforce. We have a great location, natural beauty, and strong communities. And yet, in every single ranking of economic and job growth and economic opportunity, Connecticut sits in the bottom 10 or 15 across the country. That is not, for the life of me, that cannot be blamed on our constituents. It could only be blamed on the policies in this building. Those people deserve better leadership, and this plan is about delivering that for them. The first part of our plan calls for cutting taxes across the board. In the short run, that means a 1% and 0.5% income tax cut for lower income and middle income residents in the current biennium, financed by a wage freeze on state workers for 2 years. In the long run, that means cutting income taxes across the board with a goal of around 1% for middle income earners. That can equate to roughly a $1,000 income tax cut for the average family in our state. Think about what $1,000 back in the pockets of the average middle class family would mean to them for affordability, but would also mean to our state as a whole for income, job, and economic growth writ large. It would be financed largely by using the report that will be delivered by the Committee on Tax Expenditures that's currently meeting and was passed into law just last year. There are $10 billion of tax exemptions, deductions, and credits in our tax code in Connecticut, making it enormously complicated. It's a case of $10 billion of the state government picking winners and losers. That should be simplified, and the monies from those savings should be used to deliver a middle-class income tax cut. There is doubtlessly savings from limits on spending increases and debt issuance that will also accrue to the benefit of middle-class families and allow us to deliver an across-the-board income tax cut. We also call for cutting licensing fees and filing fees on workers and small businesses. Connecticut requires over 100 different classes of workers to pay an annual fee for the right to work, even though they are qualified and licensed. We should be rolling out the red carpet for people like them to work here, not forcing them to pay a $500 or a $600 or a $900 occupational licensing fee just for the right to work here. Let's lay out the red carpet and max those licensing fees for nurses and doctors and social workers and preschool teachers and contractors and electricians and tree trimmers and any other number of workers to $100 or $200 so they can afford and so they will want to work here in Connecticut. The second part of our plan calls for a property tax cap. Connecticut's property taxes are among the highest in the entire country. Other states have rolled out property tax caps with success, including Massachusetts. Our plan largely mirrors some of the planks of that. Limits property tax increases in municipalities starting in fiscal year 2028 at the greater of 2% or inflation for the existing grand list. It allows municipalities, if they want and need, to, by referendum, vote to override that cap with a 60% vote, a 60% majority. And in order to basically finance that property tax cap, we'll do something similar to what Massachusetts did in Prop 2.5 and to what people, including members of CCM, have suggested, which is convene a task force to examine the 1,400 unfunded mandates that our state imposes on our municipalities, which are responsible for us having the second or the third highest property taxes in the country. We'll convene that task force with all the relevant stakeholders, examine which of those 100 1,400 state mandates should be rolled back, and then from there institute in the future a property tax cap which could accrue to the benefit of a middle-class family to the tune of thousands of dollars into the future. Finally, we need to protect and extend the fiscal guardrails that we have. Those are the best policy intervention we've had in this state in the last 10 or 15 years. Ernest Hemingway said that there's two ways you go broke: first slowly and then quickly. Well, you go whole, you get back in the black the same way, first slowly and then quickly. Those savings will accrue enormously to our benefit, and anyone who seeks to significantly alter them is only asking for future tax increases. Not only that, we need to strengthen the state's debt cap. Our state still has among the highest debt burdens of any state in the country. In fact, according to an OLR report, we saw our rank in bonded debt per capita increase from third highest in the country to second highest in the country since 2017. That means we're still issuing too much debt as a state to get around that spending cap. So if we do all these things, I believe we can give women like the constituent of mine in Stamford better choices. Keep her here. Invite more young families here. Create job growth, create income growth, create economic opportunity, and make the state better than ever before. I'd like to introduce the ranking member of